Everyone storing exciting selfies on your personal devices. You better think twice, and you know what I mean by exciting. This is your first story of the day, follow us for more. So Mrs. L was just jailed for 17 months on June 19, 2025 in Singapore after pleading guilty to distributing intimate images/recordings of her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. So in 2022, Mrs. L accessed her boyfriend's phone without permission while staying at his residence, and she found intimate photos and videos of his ex-girlfriend from a 2020-2021 relationship in his photo gallery. She was very upset and transferred the material to her own phone and deleted it from her boyfriend's device without his knowledge. Mrs. L then impersonated the victim on several social media platforms such as I to the G, T to the G, and a dating app, creating 4 fake I to the G accounts and modifying her T to the G profile to mimic the victim. She then targeted the victim's I to the G followers, random T to the G users via the people nearby function, and unknown man on the dating app. Between November 22 and November 29, 2022, Mrs. L distributed at least 4 videos ranging from 5 to 57 seconds and 3 images depicting the victim undressed and in explicit acts across 7 occasions. She also shared the victim's phone number on a dating app, directing men to contact the victim via WhatsApp. The victim only learned of the distribution after receiving WhatsApp messages from individuals who had interacted with someone posing as her on the dating app, and she filed a police report on November 27, 2022. Investigations traced the fake I to the G account's IP addresses to identify Mrs. L. Mrs. L's defense argued that her depressive disorder predated the offences as it was diagnosed earlier. However, the judge rejected mitigating weight for the psychiatric reports, citing contradictions and evidence of premeditation. So now, would you think twice about those exciting selfies? This woman was unalive in 2021 April from a caffeine overdose, and now in June 2025 we finally have the coroner's reports. So Christina Lackman, 32, called 000, which is the Australian emergency numbers, reporting dizziness, numbness and inability to stand. However, the call was misclassified as non-urgent code 3, believed to be vertigo delaying response, and she actually waited over 7 hours for the ambulance, which arrived at 2:23 AM. However, sadly, Christina has passed on before the ambulance arrived in her bathroom alone. And now from the coroner's inquest findings, it has found that the 7 hours ambulance wait as an unacceptable delay. However, at no point during the call did Christina mention that she might have ingested any certain substances or did she took any caffeine tablets that caused this caffeine overdose. Post-mortem revealed exceptionally high caffeine levels in her blood and stomach, likely from caffeine tablets that were ordered on the same day. However, there were alleged reports that also claimed that there are no caffeine tablets that were found in her apartment that day. Experts stated that caffeine overdoses can be fatal within 8 hours, but early hospitalization could have prompted treatment, likely preventing death. So now for context, FDA recommends a safe daily caffeine limit of 400 mg for adults, and for further context, a single shot of espressos contain between 60 to 80 mg depending on the bean size, grind size and roast. And your standard coffee that you get outside your latte consists about 2 shots of espressos, which means if you were to consume 2.5 lattes outside, that is roughly 400 mg of caffeine if you were to consider the upper limit of 1 shot of espresso. So take note everyone, because I know a lot of people are consuming a lot of caffeine on a daily basis, including. So we're back in Singapore where 2 bakers, a pet-friendly cafe in Lavender, is closing in mid-August due to a 35% rent increase and a reduced customer footfall announced via I to the G 2 weeks ago. I mean, we've covered so many stories recently about, F&B outlets closing due to rental hikes, issue in manpower and such, so not really surprised right here, right now anymore. Fans have expressed sadness, reminiscing about early days and the cafe's pet and baby-friendly environment. And take note, this cafe was even in operation for 11 years, so even 11 years Titan in the F&B also have to close down due to decreased business and higher costs. But 2 bakers aim to keep the brand alive, seeking the right time and place to resume operations for another decade. So let's wish them all the best, and in the meantime, if you wish, you could support them before they close. There's a viral petition going on right now in Singapore where they want free tap water to be served in all F&B outlets, okay? So this is your last story of the day. Follow us for more. For context, at the time of this reading, this story covered by Asia One, shout out to them, over 900 signatures were collected on a change.org petition that was started on May 25, 2025 that demanded that F&B outlets in Singapore provide free tap water to diners. Who wouldn't want that, considering that we're living in such a high-cost society right now, right? Especially dining at outlets, and then one glass of water, sometimes they charge like 20 cents, 50 cents, and all these little things add on, they really add on. And now, upon checking the number of signatures, I'm seeing over 1,700 signatures by this time. Who knows, after this story is also covered, maybe we could really push these numbers up to the moon, and maybe we could really get something going on over this. I mean, since we are all diners here, I mean, who would say no to free tap water in F&B outlets besides obviously the businesses, right? And I mean, the petition does make sense because as it focuses mainly on restaurants with 10% service charge. So if you're already charging 10% for service charge, why are some of you still charging money for ice water, like ice water served from the tap? I mean, okay, you chilled them, you add ice cube, but they came from the tap, you didn't exactly boil them, right? And this petition was started by Dr. Yee, a consultant at Singapore General Hospital, initiated the petition after observing F&B outlets encouraging diners to buy sweetened drinks to boost profits despite government campaigns to reduce sugar consumption. Interestingly enough, what actually drove him to make this petition was his personal experience at a buffet restaurant where he was already paying 60 SGD, 60 Singapore dollars per person. However, they still had to pay an additional $5 per person for free flow beverages. Wow. Imagine already paying 60 SGD per person in a buffet and still you need to add on $5 for free flow beverages. I mean, tough. And if you'd like to know more about this petition and the details, go check it out here.